Welcome to the Lovers and Things podcast, where your favorite couple's favorite couple talks about all the things that we love. My name is Lex,
I'm Greg.
and welcome to our first episode.
Yes, our first episode. So,
We're-
why do we do this podcast?
For a lot of reasons.
Okay.
So we could share all the things,
The vibes.
share the vibes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we have been together for so long, and we've created this really cool vibe between us,
Yeah.
and we just want to share it with the people.
Yeah, and there's all these other ways that we share these experiences in our lives and the little randomness that we come across. And what better than to share it on a audio platform?
Why not? Because, girls, men's, people's, they and them's, while you're shopping around at your local Target, washing your dishes, mowing the lawn, why not listen to Lovers and Things?
Do not mow the lawn with this one.
Why not?
Because I've tried to mow the lawn with AirPods, and let's just say I almost had to call Apple for some replacements because the grass was lush.
And them things be expensive, so he's right.
They was in the lush.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Lush. No, so don't do it while mowing the lawn. Maybe while you're out there looking at your lawn, like many other obsessive homeowners do. Just stare at your lawn.
Yeah, so while you're obsessively looking at your lawn, listen to Lovers and Things, because we'll be talking about all the things. We're going to be talking about home things, style things,
Yes.
wellness things, all sorts of things on this podcast. So you can look forward to that. Cultural experiences.
Like we went to the Kendrick Lamar concert recently.
On that note, the
And,
Kendrick Lamar concert.
Yeah, and it was a whole vibe, right?
Listen, guys, Kendrick is like one of my favorite artists of all time. I can't speak for anybody else, but I feel like he is a rap legend, a living rap legend, a god, if you will. And so we saw him at the
Barclays Center.
The Barclays Center. Thank you so much. The Barclays Center in Brooklyn. And it was an experience, you guys. Like, absolutely, positively, one of the best concert experiences I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, and the artistry, the lyricism.
The
Them
lyricism.
bars, though,
Listen, they be hidden. Greg and I talk about it all the time. We're like, there's a difference between hip hop artists and rap artists. And Kendrick Lamar is a lyricist or rap artist who also has the ability to flow in between hip hop really well.
Yeah.
Needless to say, I'm a huge fan. I've been listening to Kendrick since 2012. I'm a fan. I'm a Good Kid, Mad City type fan, around for a long time. And when I first heard Kendrick, literally I was working as a copywriter in Orlando. My first job out of college, which I will not tell you what year that was, but my first year out of college, listening to Kendrick, because literally he was one of the only artists that I connected with on Spotify. Y'all remember when Spotify was free?
Right.
The platform was free before they started putting up the paywall. That's how long ago I was listening to Kendrick, and he got me through.
Got you through?
He got me through a very boring and stressful copywriting job. Very dry.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, I mean, when you're entry level, you're doing what you gotta do.
Listen, doing a lot of
grueling stuff, and yeah, I've done many things in the past that were, kind of what inconsequential. It's what is this for?
It's the stuff you delete off your resume. That job ain't on my resume no more, y'all. That's how inconsequential it was to my life.
Yeah,
but we were dating though. We had just started dating.
Yeah, we just started dating. We're our young 20s, and
we were little babies in love.
A lot less facial hair.
Yo, listen, a lot less hip, ladies.
Both of us.
Both of us. A lot less hip, a lot less belly, child.
A lot less a lot of things.
A lot less a lot of things.
And good and bad.
Good and bad, honey, let me tell you. Hey. But it was a good time. It was a very good time. And I just remember Kendrick's music speaking to me in a really intimate way. And so having followed his career since then and just been a fan of all of his work, being able to see him in person was almost an out-of-body experience for me. I swear, I was I was the rapper, okay? I was shooting off lyrics left and right. I was giving mad attitude. I needed shoulder space, okay? Because I needed energy in order to deliver my bars. It was about me and Kendrick. Show. It was my show.
Quite
Kendrick
frankly,
who?
Supporting.
Kendrick who? Literally a supporting cast
member. It was
member.
One of those concerts where because it's so bar centric, so rap centric. Everybody's rapping, everybody's spitting. It was so much fun.
The whole arena.
We've been to some concerts where it's the star is performing so well and the music is not really rap centric.
Yeah.
Where you kind of just sit and just take it in. Mm-hmm. But it was an like interactive
Yeah, it was.
concert. You know, it's like everyone's rapping. It was so much fun.
It was so much fun. And like, do you remember we had pretty good good seats, like not floor level because we're grown. Okay, I ain't standing
That's
the
for
whole time.
the young folk.
That's for the churn. We had the ones just above floor level.
Kind of get the vibe a little bit, not all the
Yeah,
way
not
in.
all the way in,
Yeah,
because
kinda like, yeah, I
I
see
need
how
to.
you can sit down.
Yeah, if I need to have a seat, I need to be able to do that.
got
You
that
know.
seat option.
There was this one guy who clearly did not have a seat. Do you remember? Like,
Yeah.
I think his friends had bought seats, and he
Yeah.
obviously had a ticket to the concert because he was in the venue, but he didn't have a seat.
Probably not next to them.
Not next to them. So he's just like randomly standing in the middle of
Right.
like the seats, which is fine,
Like
but
on,
he
like
was kind of blocking my view because
like a brace member of the stadium, like a little like piece of metal.
and like it
it's like,
didn't
sir, that
bother
is not a
me.
seat.
Right. Like it didn't bother me, but then also it did because like I can't see Kendrick because this
Interrupting the view.
random 6'2" man who doesn't have a seat
That was a
is
spot
in the
for
way.
bracing,
That
not
was
for a person.
them elbows out that I was talking about.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But it was nonetheless, it was a whole vibe. And it takes just the whole Kendrick, I felt like that concert was so invaluable to go to because it was such a like personal concert, I think, for both of us.
Yeah.
Like you were mentioning, you started your journey in the copywriting, and you were listening to Kendrick to help you get through the day. Like I guess talk through that, like how you got through the copywriting and that experience, listening to Kendrick, and what brought you to this point.
Listen, yeah. So like, okay, so that's the reason why I feel like Kendrick is like a core part of like my identity at this point, is because his music, as he has evolved in his music, the same way I have evolved in my personal life and my career.
Right. Yeah.
Which has been really, really fun.
Right. It's like parallel.
Yeah, parallel sort of moments there. So I started off, again, good kid in Mad City, copywriter, fresh out of school. And then as I have evolved in my career, I hence moved from Orlando. We moved from Orlando. It's where we met. We went to the University of Central Florida, both graduated from there and stayed in Orlando for a number of years. I was working in the, I guess, communications industry. Greg was working in mechanical engineering. And then our lives just kind of like took us here to the Northeast because, I mean, for me personally, Orlando was super dry and really didn't have that much upward mobility in terms of communications and public relations, which is where I am now. From a career perspective, right? If you want to do anything in beauty communications, you kind of have to go to New York or LA. And so I kind of made the jump to move to New York to work for L'Oreal. That was my first in-house beauty job here in the city. And that's what kind of brought us here. I came here first and my beautiful fiance followed.
Yeah. Yeah, and you was up here. You left me. She left me.
She left
me. And
we were engaged at the time, so I didn't like leave him. But
yeah, but you did. You did kind of leave me though. So I had to find a way. I had to like find a way.
Yes, and so I had my job here, and then Greg found a really dope job.
Yeah, I had to find my way. So I was looking for stuff, found some things that were very traditional from what I was used to from an engineering perspective. And I found this opportunity at Tiffany & Co. And I was like, why not? Just do it. Why not? When else am I going to do something as off the beaten path as this? And why not have a little bit of fun with it? So I took that job. And, the connection to Kendrick for me, because, I was always a casual fan of Kendrick. I was a big fan of the, Good Kid, Mad City, casually. I listened to it for the first few weeks, and then I didn't listen to it after that.
Unlike me.
Right. You had it on repeat. Same with Damn. That had a bunch of hits on it. It was commercially acclaimed. Rolled that out. But, eventually, I didn't really remember the lyrics. But, this album in particular was very unique because, as some of you may or may not be aware of, but on his album cover, he's wearing a crown. Mm-hmm. And this crown was actually developed by a team at Tiffany that I work closely with, not exactly my project, but it was basically in my office. So I was able to like interact with the crown, which was pretty insane.
That is insane.
Like, try it on and test stuff out. So it was like a personal connection. And then finding out he's going on tour.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I got to see it full circle, right? Yes. Got to see the, got to close the loop of this experience, this connection with Kendrick.
Yeah.
By actually listening to the album and seeing a concert. And boy, did I listen to that album. That album, you almost got tired of it. Because I was playing that thing nonstop.
I don't know if I got tired of it. I'm still not tired of it.
Because, you always, I overplay stuff.
Yo, that's the thing about Greg that you guys will learn over time is when Greg likes a piece of music or any sort of style of music, he will wear it out.
I will binge it. I will consume. I will sleep with the music. I will wake up with the music.
He will.
Every car ride, it's always we're playing it. And I was playing that Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers.
But it's a good album. It's a beautiful album. Kendrick is such a storyteller, and I love, you mentioned The Crown and how that was, you were connected to that project, and I feel like that's also an aspect of his storytelling and his performance. But I want to hear a little bit more about The Crown because you're mentioning Tiffany and Co. You're mentioning The Crown, which means diamonds.
Diamonds.
Which means expense.
Many.
Tell us about this crown. Like, what was The Crown about? You saw it in person, I'm sure.
I wasn't in the weeds on it, but from what I was aware of, it was a really unique process because it's cast out of titanium.
Well, that's dope. That feels like big boy stuff. It's not really
common, like. Obviously in jewelry space, you're familiar with like the golds, the platinums, the silvers, and all that come with it. But like titanium
feels like the cousin of vibranium, and that makes it feel super fancy for my black self.
That's basically the White Panther, if anything.
Right.
The
titanium
and the vibranium's the Black Panther. Yeah, so it was very bizarre, bizarre material and crazy project because I don't know if I can geek out on this. So far as like stones is a common term for diamonds.
The diamonds, y'all.
Yeah,
the
diamonds.
glisten.
So the diamonds are set in a manner that they're like the beads that hold the stones down.
Yeah.
So that the stones don't fall out. Obviously.
That's crazy.
They're hand raised, which
by hand.
Full stop. Hand raised. That's titanium, which is very difficult because the setter, the jeweler that's actually applying that stone, has to nudge and form that metal, titanium, mind you, which is very hard.
The cousin of vibranium.
The cousin of vibranium, as we've established, to set these stones down, which is very difficult and very time consuming. Typically, the prongs will be like already made in the piece, like cast with the piece, so you could just move them over and shape them a little bit.
Sure.
And you're halfway there. But they had to hand raise each of them stones. And there are, thousands of stones on there. Insane. But yeah, that was crazy. And then from a personal connection, randomly being able to just do a wear test on it to see how it fits.
You had it on your head, babe? That's crazy. Did you feel like, was it weighty? Was it heavy?
I felt like my lyricism went up by about 110 points.
The Crown made you a rapper.
Yeah, just by that much. I'm not going to tell you where I started, but it went up about 110 points. You figure out the scale. But yeah, it was, and it's such a creative idea in a sense of like, we've always seen the symbolism of God and Jesus and things like that in rap, whether it be Jesus or any of the references in that regard. But I think his approach probably may have been more of like a sacrificial perspective of giving back to the community in some way. That's what I take from it.
Wow.
Whatever. It's some level of symbolism.
No, that interpretation is dope. I like that interpretation.
But it was really cool to have that connection, and going to the concert kind of basically tied it all together.
And it was so dope, guys. Like, I mean, we were high key hoping that the Crown would make an appearance.
Right.
We were hoping that he would wear it because he had worn it at, where was it?
Glastonbury.
Yeah.
The Milan show.
So we were hoping that we would see it, but it did make an appearance at the, I almost said the Robarts Arena. What's the name of it?
What is that one?
Is
that a Sarasota?
It is. I'm sorry. I'm from Sarasota, Florida.
Sarasota always comes out.
And so the Robarts Arena is very local. But the Barclays is what we're talking about today. But yeah, it didn't come out at the Barclays, but we did get a lot of visual artistry on that stage. He had some dancers that were, peppering the experience with some stuff there. Also, I think Kendrick was playing that piano live. There was a piano on the stage, and you guys know that there are some piano through lines throughout Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, which is also why I enjoy it. I am a musician, if you will, of past. pianist specifically. And so like hearing the piano through line was really interesting to me, but to see him perform it on stage I thought was really fun, because some people be faking it, and I be calling out people who be faking it because your fingers ain't moving, fam, and I see you. But I feel like Kendrick's fingers were moving.
It
wasn't a complicated like,
but still he was up there, and he gave it what was supposed to be given.
He gave what's supposed to be babe.
Gave what y'all supposed to be.
He gave what was supposed to be. Is that it?
He's given.
We are old.
We'll work on that.
We are old.
It's not an old thing.
I think it is.
It's a very complex
I think that means we're tapped out.
Phrase.
I think that means we're.
No. It's he gave what was supposed to. He gave what was supposed to give. Is the word. Is the phrase.
Oh my god.
So he gave it, and it was really good. And really good. That's like how simple of a description. But it was very immersive.
It was.
Did you drop a reel on IG?
No, but you did.
Okay, I dropped.
You did the reel.
And it kind of gives you an idea of what the energy of the concert was like. So if you get a chance, check it out.
Yeah, it was really dope.
Got some cool visuals from that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and leading up to it, we took some time, as we do. Mm-hmm. Whenever there's an activity, I always plan the food.
Oh yeah. So whenever we do anything really that involves anything.
Doctor's office.
Gotta
go get something to eat.
Right, exactly. We be eating.
Passport
okay.
renewal. What we eating?
Oh my gosh, we have to celebrate with food. We're a foodie couple, so we'll probably be talking about that a lot in this podcast as well. Our food experience, our food things. But yeah, so before the concert, you can't go to a concert hungry. Absolutely not. So Husbay just booked us over to one of our favorite Brooklyn Caribbean inspired spots, Negril BK. Shout out to Negril BK. Y'all have a good amount of our money. So you're welcome. But the food,
they are
good.
They are just reliable.
Yeah, just very reliable.
Just if you don't know what you're gonna get, just swing by over to the Negril. Mm-hmm. Get you a plate of stew peas and rice, whatever it may be.
Yeah, exactly. You gonna get your cabbage. You gonna get your rice and pea. You gonna get your
some varietal of plantain.
Yeah, a jerk, something, chicken, shrimp, what have you.
And they got a good brunch too.
Yeah, they do have a good brunch.
We did that brunch with, was it with your
Sissy?
sister?
My sister who lives in Brooklyn. Was it
Thomas? We went inside. Remember that one time we were inside and they had we got drinks.
Yes, we did. Very good. Negril BK. We be there. Okay. I don't know if anybody else be there, but we be there. And we don't even live in New York. We live in New Jersey.
Right. We live in New Jersey and we eat in New York.
And we eat in New York. We like legit bought a home in New Jersey. But when we want to taste of the city and the vibe, we drive in and out pretty often. So we did that pre the Kendrick concert because we just kind of had to.
Yeah. And buying a home has been a journey in and of itself.
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
We've been here for what, 2?
We'll be here 2 years in December.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to take you guys through our home purchase journey. Maybe that's something we'll do pretty soon. But we bought at the very last day of the year in 2020. So December 31st, 2020 is when we closed on our home.
Yeah.
And we have been living life ever since. And in our home, it's been quite a journey. But in our home, we have this record player because, again, we love music. And we have a Kendrick vinyl. We have Damn on vinyl.
Yeah. Oh, and I also got the Big Step.
Yes.
Mr. Morale, the Big Step.
Yeah, Mr. Morale is coming in soon.
Whenever they ship it, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
we're racking up really quick. We've had that record player for what? Less than a year maybe?
I don't know. Someone
was
gifted
it. A gift?
It was Javon gave it to us.
Javon?
Okay. No, Giovanna gave us our Nespresso.
Oh my God.
Love you, JoJo. And also love you, Javon. Both of you guys
hooked
so
us
much.
Up with
good friends.
My guy.
Yeah.
That's my guy. Love
We've
them.
got good friends. That's another thing. We're blessed to have really good friends.
Yeah, we haven't had it that long, and we have 2 cases of records.
Oh, it's crazy. We have a lot of records. Some that are new, and then some that we have been gifted that are used ones as well. I know that we went to a jazz festival last year and got some from some classic artists that I enjoyed listening to as a kid.
We've been gifted some.
A lot. A lot of them. My parents have gifted us some. My sister's boyfriend Steve. Yeah, so many people have gifted us things.
And like they're all like have different purposes. They're like they're kind of like your wardrobe in some way. It's like what mood you into right now. You into like you're trying to dress a little bit more punk. You go with that. You're trying to dress a little bit more smooth for evening. And it's like you're trying to be. It's like a wardrobe, and like we pull from it. There's even a holiday.
Yes, we have holiday.
Holiday out. We got holiday records.
Yep, we've got
it's super
some.
fun. It's been super fun.
Yeah, we're actually a pretty big music couple. Like we enjoy the vibes that music provides, and like I think one of our through lines for us is like soulfully things. I think we enjoy things with soul, whether that's something
soul
a rap.
Food? Oh, I'm sorry. No?
We done left. We not talking about food no more. We talking about the music.
Okay, soul.
Like whether that be in rap, whether that be in jazz, with like something with essence. I think we like music with essence.
Yeah, soul.
You know what I mean?
Soul food.
Okay,
yeah.
Greedy.
Okay, I'm with you on that.
All right.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I'll be making soul food this weekend.
Well, she said it. But yeah, that's the Kendrick concert.
Yeah.
And the experience of that in our journey from you listening to it in your job to me randomly stumbling upon a job that has a connection to the artist in some way years later.
Yeah.
And us being at the concert together in Brooklyn.
Full circle. Truly a full circle moment. So fun. Priceless. Totally priceless. And fun fact, one of my favorite karaoke songs to sing is Humble.
Of course.
I will tear up Humble in a minute. Don't play with me. Like the minute it comes on.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. That's like, what is it, like middle? You're in the middle of it? Or is that end of the night, karaoke night?
I think it's mid. Like if it's middle of the night, really I have to get, maybe a couple of energizing songs before. Yeah, but it's maybe a closer depending on how I'm feeling.
It's a good closer.
It is a good closer.
Yeah, I got to work on my karaoke cadence.
What do you mean karaoke cadence? Let's unpack this. What is a karaoke cadence?
I come out the gate hot. And then I just start like singing songs that I shouldn't be singing right out the gate. I need to have some warm up songs, some transitionary like build up songs. I'll come out, start singing some Gnarls Barkley, Crazy, like out the gate.
I think that one's good to start with, though.
That is a difficult song to sing.
No, that's true.
You're wailing on top of your lung, and I always regret. I start strong and then like peter out. By the fourth song, I need a few more drinks. I'm just struggling to get through. My voice is all raspy.
Oh yeah, you gotta figure that out.
I gotta have my set list.
I mean, we have a couples karaoke list. Maybe you need to have your own now.
I need a set list. See, we just have a list. Everything's on it.
We do. We just kind of go for it.
That's how prepared we are for karaoke. So
that's true. We have a Google
anybody wants all the smoke, we got it all. Okay.
We certainly do.
Because we are ready.
We stay ready.
I just need to work on my set list.
No, I get that. Because you can't start off too strong. Because to your point, like you'll blow your vocals, right? You gotta start soft. Maybe. But the thing about it is, I was like, maybe Adele, but Adele kills you.
Right.
You can't do Adele.
And which is where I think I might lean into some Mario. You should let me love you. You should let me love you. That's like a good soft like. And you don't have to take it there. You could just ride it out slow and then like kind of like work your way through the song and get one song in out the gate. And then you work your way up to like something more vocally challenging.
I agree. Because while for Mario songs, Mario, sorry,
that was really good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
While you can, do the riffs and things like that,
you don't have to.
You don't have to. You can still sound good, keeping it very
light, keeping mild,
very light.
Sip in between, like just like sip between a chorus and like take your time.
Yeah, you can.
You don't have to exert yourself.
But he will. I learned that on the verses.
Clearly, this man.
He will.
Unhinged.
But you don't have to. Wow, Lord, that's a topic for another day. Speaking of artistry.
That was the 2022 Jadakiss. Was Jadakiss's the Logs versus Dipset? Was that 2022?
That was 2021 because that was during the pandemic. No. I feel
Or
like
right
that
in the
was a
beginning? No, that stage was crowded enough. Yes,
no.
we all over.
Wow,
That stage was crowded.
you're right.
That
So
might have been,
maybe
that was at the heels of the panorama.
that was on the heels of the
Yeah.
panorama. People was acting a fool, but
But that
no,
was a stellar performance by Mario
very good. And I follow him on Instagram now
because of that.
solely because of that.
Yeah.
I sometimes I regret it because
Mm.
he's so annoying.
Oh God,
Like he's so annoying.
what is he doing?
Like I just don't like his photos. This
Is it too Omari? I mean, not Mario. Is it too Mario? Like, is it too like
Don't sound
R and B
tough.
singer? Like, oh, of course,
It
you're an
is.
R and B singer. You're doing this.
It's the overly edited photo of him in some strange Gucci fit
Yeah.
and a jacket and bulky glasses.
So
and
essentially,
his-
what I wish my Instagram was. Okay.
Essentially.
Okay. So I will follow him for
Very
inspiration.
filtered and edited photo. But I
Got it.
love it for like I hate it personally, but I love it for him.
Yes.
Because style
I
is
love
one
that
of those
energy.
things where it's like, if you're living in it and you're sitting in it,
Yeah.
good for you. Good for you, girl.
Yeah. And I think like style in general is like it is a journey in life.
Mm-hmm.
Style. I feel like people should always be looking at their style every day with a fresh outlook. Like it should be constantly evolving.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think that's kind of like one of the things that I've been like really like tapping into, and
Oh, your personal style.
yeah,
Oh.
it never ends.
Okay, I love that.
It ebbs and flows.
Ooh.
You know, I feel like I'm coming out of an ebb. Is the ebb the bottom or the flow the bottom?
I don't even know.
Let's the ebb sounds bad.
For the sake of this conversation, the ebb is the bottom. The flow is the
The
top.
flow is up. So ebbs and flows,
Mhm.
like a peak and a valley.
There you go.
I think I'm coming out of an ebb.
All right.
I think I'm coming out of an ebb.
Okay.
You know, I think the last, because I'm a child of the Dapper era.
Wow.
product of the Dapper
If
era.
y'all want a good
Boy, Greg Style Guide, I was in it. You know,
on Instagram,
that was a moment.
it was
that was
a
an
moment.
era.
It wasn't. It was an era.
But you had to move on. Sometimes you gotta
You
evolve.
do. I
And
totally agree.
Personally,
with that.
I want to evolve. I wanted to evolve because, my life changed. Like I was no longer in the South. I moved up into Manhattan in the city, and I had, navigating that space, and like part of your look kind of has to be functional in some way.
Absolutely.
And as much as I love some Allen Edmond hard bottoms or some,
Oh, the
some
Allen
loafers,
Edmonds.
I ain't wearing that on the subway. I'm not.
You should not.
I'm not. When I'm out in these Manhattan streets,
Hey,
I gotta be ready for anything.
Stay ready so
I
you
gotta
ain't got to
a high
get
knee
ready.
going and start sprinting. You
Hell,
never know.
No, listen, you really never know.
So
That's not a
My
joke.
shoes gotta be together, and also I can't have delicate shoes. I can't have shoes that I don't mind like stepping on something that I don't ever want to see. Like you feel, but you don't want to see.
Like,
Oh my God, I don't know what that was. I'm gonna keep walking because I don't know what that was. That's like, when you felt something.
yeah, I know.
So I've got to have shoes like that, and then with that comes my wardrobe. Got to be accompanying to it.
Mhm.
You get hot more in the city than back in the South where you drive. You drive AC in your car.
Yeah,
You go to your building, it's AC at the door. So
AC
like,
to AC.
AC to AC in the South is easy. Like you can wear. I wore sweaters all year round, really. And a part of my style journey, now that I feel like I'm coming out of this ebb, I think I kind of unlocked another aspect of it with the Kendrick concert.
Okay.
I kind of was dressing more looser. I felt like I was a little bit more comfortable from the clothing perspective. I had like not necessarily oversized shirt, but just like a looser flowing shirt that was kind of like I think there's like a thing now where there's a lot of like knits that's being worn in the summer. So
And I like that,
it's
actually.
like a breathable knit.
Mm-hmm. It
So-
looks good.
Yeah, and it's kind of like it gives a little bit of a 60s vibe to it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like short sleeve knits with like open collars.
Ooh.
That was kind of the look I was channeling
I like that.
at the concert. And
And you looked really nice, babe.
well, thank you.
You look really cute.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I'm out here trying. And an element that I added to the look was I noticed that chunkier chains.
Mm-hmm.
having a thing, and like it's become a thing that I love. Like,
Is that something you know? Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. Is that something that you notice in jewelry because you work in jewelry? Like you noticed that that was like the trend, or is it something that you just found like in passing?
I the in in my job, I got confirmed of it
Ah, okay.
because this is gonna get really inside baseball, but one of our collections called HardWear, you actually have a bracelet.
Oh, I love the hardware collection.
It has gotten more and more sales and more
Yeah.
and more interest, right? So it's a big link. It's a large link uh, product line. Like the necklaces, the bracelets are big links, and these chunky jewelries, like chunky necklaces that are on men, kind of like chokers a little bit. Not
Yeah.
really chokers, but like uptight.
Like they're not like
They're not chokers, but they're like not. They're not hanging.
yeah, they're not the chains that you would
I'd
see
say-
on like a Jesus piece. They don't
Right,
hang that low.
right.
They're a little
Yeah.
higher on the neck, just below the collarbone.
Just
I'd
below
say.
the collarbone, I'd say if I would give it a number, maybe 18 inches.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
18 inches.
That's fair.
But yeah, these large links have been a statement. And you know, one of my good friends who since I met him over 10 years ago, he was one of the best men in my wedding. When I saw him on it, because he'd be on the wave early.
Yeah, he do.
This is Tony.
I know exactly
Tony Hawkins,
what
the
you're
artist.
talking about. Very good friend. Very good friend.
Yeah, one of my best friends. He was on it early, and when he's on it early, I know it's coming in about
Yeah.
6 to 13 months.
It's the
About
artist
6
in
to 13.
him. He just be knowing.
He just be knowing.
He just be
on
knowing.
it. So I saw he had a chunky chain. So I was like, I gotta get ready for a chunky chain because he's on it now. I'll be on it about 6 to 13 months. So then I started mentally preparing myself for this chunky chain, and got my looks together. And I put on this chunky chain, and I think it really brought the look to what I felt was 2022. I felt like, all right, this is now. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm doing something that's of this moment and it's unique and something I haven't done before personally.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I paired it with some a pearl necklace that
You did layer your
yeah,
jewelry
layered
that
it with
day.
a pearl necklace, and I think as you've seen over the past, I'd say it's been a thing of maybe the last year or two, but definitely last year. More pearl jewelry, more statement jewelry being incorporated in the men's wardrobe,
Sure.
and that was this. I think that was the thing that I loved was that chunky chain,
Chuck a chine.
and that pearl string necklace, and so that chunky chain is part of my life now. It's part of my rotation. It's
Yeah.
part of my look now.
I love it. I
know,
think
and
it adds such a nice little bit of just like detail.
Yeah,
Really.
a little bit of reflectiveness.
A
To
little
it,
bit
yeah.
of reflectiveness.
It's always underneath like a shirt, underneath a collar shirt, and it's right at that collarbone level.
Mm-hmm.
It just adds it like balances out the look in a sense. Like, I'm still trying to figure out the words to describe what I'm trying to look like, what my look is like.
Yeah.
I keep something about the word dad keeps floating around.
Yeah, he keeps
So,
describing his style
I
as
think it's
dad.
because it reminds me of
We
90s
do not have
dads.
children yet. I don't know why he.
Not yet, but
but
the
I know it's an
dad
essence.
energy,
It's, but it doesn't look like dad to
I
me.
think I'm thinking about the 90s.
Okay, so then you should say that though. I think then it's a '90s.
Like sitcom, I guess that's what it is. Like a lot of sitcoms in the 90s, what that I saw was
Yeah.
very family focused, and
Yeah.
and I remember the dads wearing these polo shirts. I guess not really that, because I'd say no. I think maybe like a lot. That's why I'm getting that where I'm getting that from.
Yeah.
Some of the dad
That's
energy.
that's
But
true.
the 90s type of vibe,
Mm-hmm.
in a sense of like a middle-aged person in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
But with like a little bit of flair of like the jewelry, but like a middle-aged person that wore the looser fit jeans, that wore a little bit oversized button-up shirts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Think of like the larger blooming shirts that they used to tuck in, but I'm not tucking in. Instead, I'm leaving it loose.
And that's the difference too. It's like, what I find interesting about style is that things are often cyclical because there's really, at the end of the day, only so much that you can do. So things come back, but they come back in variations. And I do think that the 90s inspired things that we're finding in style today. And when I say style, I mean accessible style. So consumer focused style really is that like that looser for the women is too like looser things that are more, honestly, I'm finding more patterns and things like that. You're also playing a lot more with like color now than you like. There's different things that are coming back that are definitely 90s inspired. And I think that oversized shirt is definitely one of them. It, to your point, is exactly what the 90s 30 something year old dad would
Right.
wear, but it's styled differently because of like,
Modern interpretation.
yeah, modern
Yeah. A
interpretations.
little
But it is
faded. The
definitely
shirt's a little
100%
faded,
that.
like a light pastel-y
Yeah.
colors and stuff like that.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
it's that oversized though, because man, let me tell you, them skinny jeans and tight vests had y'all in a chokehold. Okay,
Hmm.
y'all was out here fighting for y'all lives in
Yeah.
them vests and skinny jeans.
That Taylor was on. Do people still do speed dial? But that's if I had a speed dial, my Taylor was on it.
Yes, she
Because
was. What was her
many
name?
buttons were amiss.
What I remember. What was
Was
her
it
name?
Tammy? Was it Tammy?
It was Tammy. We had a Taylor in Orlando. Greg had a Taylor. She would see her often. You would
Yeah.
see Tammy often.
She saw me all the time.
Because it was the shirts. He was always taking in
Snatching
his
the shirt,
shirts
snatching
and
the this
the
and snatching the
pants
that.
and oh, what a journey! And now you want it to be falling off your bones.
Yeah,
So
you gotta be,
that's the
you know,
thing.
that's the wave now, and I'm
It's
trying
the
to embrace it.
wave. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
It's
love
like,
that wave.
you know, what are some of the things you love?
Oh,
I think particularly with like the Kendrick concert.
you mean in turn? Well, from a style perspective, like I'm similar to you in that like my style has evolved quite a bit. I am also finding that the 90s vibe is inspiring my look. But the thing about it is, when you've lived through the 90s, the 90s, the interpretation of the 90s now sometimes be a little off, you know?
Mm.
Like, you know, they're cherry picking the stuff that they're bringing back,
Yeah.
which is fine because not everything was great. But yeah, I'm finding myself also loving the 90s aesthetic. Like, I can remember one show that I used to love freaking watching was Daria. I don't know if you guys remember Daria, but I used to love Daria because I felt like she was the vibe. She used to have on, this is a cartoon show.
Hmm.
But Daria used to have on these black chunky boots, which I now know were Doc Martens. She used to have on this black skirt and this maroon shirt and this dark green sort of jacket over said thing, and she was
Yeah.
very monotone and very like not with the mess and just so cool. And I used to love Daria. Like characters like that inspired like who I kind of am channeling today in terms of like my style and my energy. It's essentially me looking like what I wish I could have looked like when I was younger, but my mother was too frightened to allow me to wear certain things.
Right, right.
So
Yeah.
now I'm like black nail polish out. Love it. I love like chunky chains, like Greg mentioned that. I love the HardWear collection because I like chunky jewelry now. I love mixing metals. I love digging into things that are just like dark and almost like what is the word?
Goth a little bit, not really goth. Is it goth?
Punk leaning.
Punk. Okay.
It's definitely punk leaning, and it's like it's a statement. Like for instance, like for the Kendrick concert, I wore from a jewelry perspective, I wore obviously my HardWear. I layered some silver and gold chains, but the fun piece of it was this dress that I found from Finesse Studios, which is an AI led clothing brand, by the way. Very cool. Check them out. I feel like they are always coming out with cool stuff. It was like this maxi length dress.
Yeah.
And the girls who know. So I'm going to try to explain it. It's a dress that has a photo of a body already printed on it. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It's
like a technical print.
Yeah,
like
it's a
very,
technical
like,
print. It's like the naked dress.
pixelated a little
Yeah,
bit.
y'all know what I'm talking about. It's that type of dress. And then I paired it with these platform white Doc Martens that were really chunky. So I was able to balance out a very form-fitting dress with something that was like chunky and bit. Oh, I just loved it. And I had long dark nails. Girls, I loved it. I absolutely loved that look. And I feel like that's where I've been lately. And I'm really comfortable with it because, you know, when you're trying to figure out your style, when you're a certain age, conformity is important to you. So feeling like you fit in, you know, in terms of your style and making sure that you're on trend is important.
Right.
And while being trendy and relevant is still important to me, I'm now more gravitating to things that make me feel good and things that I know that I like, even if I know other people don't like it.
That's a word.
Yeah, like, you know, like I'm fine with not looking like everybody else, but I know what I'm giving is a look. Whether or not you get it is your business, but I know it's a look. And that's kind of how I felt at the Kendrick concert. I loved it. But then also, I feel like that's very much Kendrick energy.
Okay.
I feel like Kendrick if you really listen to his music, really brings out a level of authenticity and personal reflection, social perspective, and I feel all those things can be interpreted into style as well.
Yeah,
You know?
he's like
Yeah.
unapologetically himself.
Yes, and he narrates the world as he sees it unfiltered, and I feel like style for me is now kind of that way too. I'm wearing things as I like, as I see it unfiltered, and it's fun.
Hmm.
So I brought that to Kendrick, and I love that's one of my favorite looks of all time now.
I like that. It was really cool. And I think it just makes me think of those like movies, kind of like if there was a female character. I can't remember a female character, but like in Fight Club, I'm thinking Fight Club.
Ooh, Fight
But
Club.
Fight Club, like if there was like a female character in Fight Club that that was just like maybe like running like one of the fighting rinks.
The
Is that what they call
fighting
rinks?
rings. I don't
Fighting
know,
clubs,
Jeff.
like where everyone like the underground,
Yeah.
like like Fight Club.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you would be the woman like running it with that look, that dress,
I
the
agree.
Doc Martin boots,
Mm-hmm.
and you probably have like some weapon in your hair.
Yeah, why
that
not?
was like also doubled as a hairpiece, but you could kill somebody with it.
Yeah, you feel like a baddie. Like you feel
Yeah.
like it
And your
gives that
glasses
energy.
were cool too. You had like
Oh,
these little
thank
like
you. I
these
did. I
little-
had some
that
shades.
sound means
Means glasses. Oh, and I
Right,
also
right.
had mad rings on because I love rings.
Mhm.
Like, it was very fun. I don't know. I'm loving who I am at this stage of my life and this stage of my style. So
yeah.
I'm having fun with it.
Yeah, it's constantly evolving. I think that's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
It's also very humbling in some way of like, yo, I gotta like, how do I redefine this look? I kind of feel out of my element. This is not what I'm used to.
Mm-hmm.
How do I feel confident
Yeah.
with this in this new execution of style?
Mm-hmm.
It's been a challenge because my developmental young adult first decade of my adult life was dapper.
Mm-hmm.
But like now, how do I define this new part of my life now with my current environment
Yeah.
and fitting in my social settings and balancing this life that I have now?
Yeah,
It's been very cool.
Yeah, and I think that's part of like the journey of life, right? It's like if you're blessed enough to see different phases of your life, different seasons, I think that's part of it. If you're not growing and evolving, I feel like you're doing something wrong. Like if I had the same mindset, even the same styles, why not? As I did when I was, 21 when we first met, who am I really? Like I think life's experiences teach you so much, and the older you get, I'm finding the more comfortable you come with yourself, the more
Yeah.
settled, because you've been challenged with things that you've overcome. That's what it is. I think growth comes when you overcome things.
All right.
And one of the things that we overcame as a couple was moving to a new space, moving to a whole new state where we didn't know anybody. And now we're planting roots here. That was a challenge. We're overcoming it, and now we're in this new season of our lives, and I think it's so fun that we're able to evolve personally. We're evolving stylistically, and now we've evolved to the point where we're now sharing our journey with you guys on a podcast, which is
Yeah.
another iteration of our love, which is so fun.
Yeah, it's fascinating, and I think going through these experiences and sharing along the way, and kind of just keeping this like an open discussion where we're all talking about the experiences that we have as young 30-something-year-olds trying to figure it out
Yeah.
is like kind of why we do this Lovers and Things podcast. And that it'll be great to talk about these experiences and also talk about things we love
Yeah.
along the way.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like a journey through a little bit about ourselves.
Yeah.
Just like a little taste of like some of the things we loved recently with the concert.
Yeah, definitely the Kendrick concert. We loved our looks. And, the thing about the Kendrick concert is like we're starting to get more into enjoying experiences. Like we love experiences.
Yeah.
And so we have more of that coming up too. Like we're going to a Dion Cole taping. He's a
If
comedian.
you follow him on Instagram, he's so funny. And then on the shows, many of shows he's on.
He's,
he's
so
on,
freaking
he's on
funny.
Blackish.
Blackish, his character be tearing me
Yeah,
up.
So we're going to his stand-up
Yeah.
special. Actually, it's Netflix taping.
Yeah, we're going to his Netflix taping in the city, so that'll be dope. That's another experience that I know we are going to love. And then we are also going to, I'd mentioned early on the podcast that we have been to jazz festivals, so that's where we got some of our vinyls. We're going to that same jazz festival, weather pending, in a couple of weeks. So that'll be another experience.
You know, we'll probably come out there with five more
We
vinyls.
better. That's the whole point.
Get in the third case. But yeah, it's more to come. It's going to be pretty cool.
It is. And we're so excited to take you guys on this journey with us, build this community of other, lovers, of people who love the thing. So
Yeah.
this has been fun, babe. Do you love it?
Yeah.
Do you love this? You love the podcast?
It's good to, talk and hear myself talk. No, I'm just kidding.
It's all of me.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah, this is fun. Well, thank you guys so much for listening to our first episode. More to come on all things that we love. But if you want to keep up with us in the meantime, these podcasts will be coming out every so often. But if you'd like to follow us on the day-to-day, follow Greg and his style evolution, all of his engineering beautifulness. If you'd like to follow
Greg Style Guide.
At Greg Style Guide. If you'd like to follow me and all my beauty and wellness thing from a corporate and personal perspective, you can follow me at The Lexicana. So Greg at Greg Style Guide, me at The Lexicana. And that's it.
So send us home. Take us home, baby.
All right. Well, that's all I got to say, y'all. Love y'all. Love y'all. Love y'all real deep.
And keep loving the things, y'all.
Yes. Love your things.
Yeah, this is the Lovers and Things podcast.
Lovers and Things podcast. Bye.
Peace.
And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Happy New Year.
Welcome to the Lovers and Things podcast, or your favorite couple get together and talk about all the things that we love. My name's Lex.
I'm Greg.
And yeah.
Get into it. So what's the topic for today,
Mama? I don't like that. You can't ask what the topic of the day is.
That is the topic of the day. All right, sorry everyone. This is our first podcast, so there's a bit of a learning curve. Apparently, I can't say what is the topic of the day. So how do you want to get into this?
I feel like that's a little
too forward. Well, I am
forward.
pretty heavy-handed.